extract the best out of your game, because if you don't play your best, you will struggle. Anything in the 60s, something to be proud of.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he's thinking on that.
In the cup. What a shot. Can't get much better than that.
To the second hole now, par 4, only 371 yards. Frank, what do players need to look out for off the tee?
It's really a layup hole here. No need to hit driver down there. The biggest bunker in the distance there is about 300 yards. You have to avoid that. Nothing wrong with hitting an iron or even a hybrid off this.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. No problems early. Looks good.
It does look good. This bodes well. We might be in for a very, very low round today.
Frank, that is how it's done.
Yeah, take a gross of those. That is a lesson in itself.
And now a chance for eagle. 6 under par now.
Now at the 4th, par 3. Frank, what's the key here?
Somehow find some green grass. The name Sandpit pretty much tells you what is around the green.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. Settles in over the putt. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been.
Well, here we are at the 5th hole, a 535-yard par 5 for the long-hitting professionals. Frank, certainly not a long test. What is the challenge here on this hole?
It's another example of great design by Pete Dye. He'll give you the trouble on the left on the tee shot, and then he moves the trouble to the right on the second shot. It's going to get you one way or the other.
Frank, they say you have to ride the wind. Well, he got all of that one.
Got every ounce out of the conditions.
Oh my goodness, he just made that. I cannot believe it.
I was thinking might get it close. And just a great shot.
Well, Frank, how about this 255-yard par 3 6th?
Yeah, there's a bit of a bailout area, sort of short and left, but the only thing really going in the player's favor, it is a big green, 51 yards in depth. So you want to sort of do the maths in reverse, 255, take away 50, 205 front. It doesn't sound as daunting.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Just an incredible shot. That is a very makeable putt after a great approach. Well played.
2's always better than 1 when you're counting birdies in golf. Frank, if you want to play this game at the highest level, and no doubt our players do, you have to sort of be tactical. When you break down shots or break down a hole, how would you break down this hole in a very smart way?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at there. A lot of people would think 350 yards, you could bash a driver down there, you'd finish up in trouble. Well, the way to be aggressive on a strategic hole is to just put the first one in play in a position where you can attack with the second. And there's no shame in that. You can still walk off here more days than often than not with a 3.
Didn't check, Frank.
Yeah, just not enough spin on that, really. I mean, that almost like took that first bounce and just ricocheted forward.
Perfect, and in the hole. What a shot. Now the second par 5 on this opening 9 here at PGA West. Frank, what are we looking at?
The bunker down the right side gives you that optical illusion because it sort of has that curvy edge to it, plus it sort of moves its way to that right side. And then you notice there's a bunker on the left that sneaks in on the left side. So this isn't just sort of blaze away off the tee. It still requires a good straight tee shot. If you do err a little bit, then you've got to be very cognizant of the bunkers up on the left side as you get closer to the green.
Just a sensational shot, and he will have that for an eagle.
Amazing. Just like that, pick up 2 on the field.
Frank, the 9th hole at 452 yards. That water down the right is really a test of a player's driving ability, isn't it?
It is, and his ability to sort of take the shot on. Ideally, just something with a little bit of a fade, unless you can carry the ball 300 yards. Then you can get it just past that bunker. But when you look at this hole, notice how that fairway just starts to open up. So Pete Dye will reward an aggressive tee shot, but also he'll punish it if it's wayward.
Frank, how about that?
Oh, can you believe that, too? I mean, could have hit the flag and bounced away instead. Straight in. Amazing shot. And really deserves it.
Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. We are back at PGA West, getting set to continue the action on the back 9. Beautiful hole here. Rock border that lines the water here at number 10. It's 416 yards. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Wow, what a shot.
What are the chances of making it from there?
Well, we've arrived at our 3rd par 5 of the day here at PGA West. It is the 11th. It is nicknamed, appropriately, Eternity. 617 yards. Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. With that ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. That is classy.
I had a chance of going in.
Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see 2 par 5s back to back. So the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. And it is not looking like a good lie. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another. If you hit enough shots, every now and again, one's going to go in.
Crazy, crazy game. Frank, what do you make of this par 3 13th at 214 yards?
It's another example of Pete Dye using those sort of very harsh wooden bulkheads that give you that such a definitive line around the edge of the green. Plus, it's his ability to turn a straight hole into a very angular or crooked-looking hole.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. Another one inside of 5 feet. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now another short par 4. It's only 389 yards. But Frank, where could a player go off course, so to speak, at this 14th?
Well, this is a hole where you have to play your own game. If you're a longer hitter, I think you can challenge that bunker and knock it over there. And if you're shorter player, you should be only looking at that left side. You're always going to feel like you've left something out here on a hole like this. You always think you could have done the other option. But this is where you've got to stick to what you think is your game plan.
Oh, do that. Frank, if a player needs to make a big move at the close of the round, how could they get at this hole location and make a birdie? They call this turning home.
He's loading up on it.
Look at the coil there.
Smokes it. Well, that's the best that was going to be on the fringe.
Not too bad.
Rich, I thought he could get this close.
That just is amazing. Just a mind blower right there. Absolutely incredible. He made the shot. Down to par 5, 16th. Frank, this is a pretty solid hole.
Like all the other par 5s here, length gets a big advantage here. This hole, as you mentioned, bends to the left. And that bunker can be taken out of play by the longest hitters. 326 yards will get you past that. Otherwise, there's sort of a V shoot down the right side that everybody else has to respect.
Now that is a shot that would be replayed over and over. Well, there it is. They call it Alcatraz. Just sitting out there on the water, 168 yards away, Frank.
Well, speaking of water, that water looks so peaceful, doesn't it? It'd be a shame to spoil it with a splash. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. That's a birdie for McIlroy. He's just so explosive. Well, Frank, hopefully the player has arrived here at 18 in a pretty good frame of mind. If not, you have to be thinking, oh, here we go again. Water left. I mean, you could shoot 100 out here on this golf course if you don't have your best stuff.
Yeah, this is another example of, you're right, if you've got the bad mojo going, this is not the hole you want to be playing. Water left, bunkers right. Somewhere in between, though, this fairway. Rich, with a lie like that on the rough, you're going to get too much grass between club face and ball. You're going to have to adjust for that and at least take a club or two more.
Dude, that in the hole, tremendous shot. Frank, you have to like what you saw out there today.
It certainly did. Swing is excellent right now. Stroke, there's nothing wrong with that. Really, just it's a case of